I'm not a company trying to push a product. I am not a politician trying to get votes. I am a 26-year-old farmer who is both financially and mentally committed to seeing the well-being
Most
of my
viewers think
family's
they know Cole the Cornstar,
succeed.
the energetic young farmer cracking jokes from a tractor, while living the kind of rural life people romanticize. But behind the viral harvest videos and family moments is a story far more calculated, intense, and surprising than it appears. This isn't just a camera pointed at farm life, it's a carefully built brand operating in one of the most unpredictable industries on earth. From hidden financial pressure to internet criticism and the constant battle to stay relevant, there's a side to Cole that rarely makes the thumbnail. And once you see it, you'll never watch his videos the same way again. Cole didn't accidentally stumble into YouTube success. He quietly engineered it long before most people ever heard his name. While many viewers assume he just picked up a camera and went viral, the reality is much more intentional. Back when he was studying finance in college, Cole became intensely focused on understanding what makes people click, watch, and stay. Instead of treating YouTube like a hobby, he approached it like a business blueprint. He studied storytelling, analyzed thumbnails, improved his delivery, and learned how small changes could dramatically boost engagement. What makes this even more surprising is that he was building this digital presence while balancing the real demands of farm life, early mornings, long days, and responsibilities that don't pause just because you're editing a video. Most people would have burned out trying to juggle both worlds. Cole leaned into it. Viewers often see the humor and spontaneity, but underneath that is someone playing a long strategic game. Every upload sharpened his skills. Every video taught him something about audience psychology. And slowly, without a massive viral explosion, the channel transformed from simple farm updates into a magnet for millions of curious viewers. But just as the momentum started building, a new reality crept in. Because growing fast online is one thing, turning that attention into something sustainable is a completely different challenge. What most viewers don't immediately realize is that the farm isn't just the setting of the videos. It's a high-risk business where one bad season can ripple through everything. While the camera often captures big machines, wide fields, and lighthearted moments, the financial weight behind those images is enormous. Modern farming runs on expensive equipment, rising input costs, unpredictable weather, and markets that can swing without warning. It's not the slow, simple lifestyle many imagine. It's closer to running a massive operation where timing and decisions can make or break a year's work. As the channel began attracting serious attention, that visibility created opportunity. But it also raised the stakes. Growth on a farm usually means reinvesting, upgrading machinery, improving storage, expanding capacity. All moves that require confidence and careful planning. Cole has been open about pouring resources back into the operation, signaling that this was never about internet fame alone. The goal was building something that could last. But here's the part people rarely think about. When your livelihood is tied to both the land and an audience, pressure doubles. A tough harvest isn't just stressful privately. Now thousands, even millions, are watching it unfold. And that's exactly when the story stops being just about crops and starts becoming about the people standing behind them. The secret ingredient behind the channel's pull isn't just the farming, it's the people. Long before some viewers noticed it, Cole was quietly turning everyday family interactions into one of the strongest loyalty drivers on the internet. Daddy Cornstar isn't just a background figure. He represents experience, tradition, and the kind of steady presence that makes the farm feel rooted in something bigger than YouTube. Then there's Cooper, bringing a different energy that balances humor with authenticity. Together, they create a dynamic that feels unscripted, which is exactly why audiences trust it. That trust is powerful. When viewers begin to recognize personalities instead of just tractors, they stop watching casually and start coming back like clockwork. It feels less like content and more like being welcomed into someone's daily life. But with that connection comes an invisible shift. The farm is no longer just private family ground. It becomes a public space, where moments, decisions, and even disagreements live under constant observation. And here's where things get complicated. The stronger the emotional investment, the more opinions viewers tend to have. Support grows louder, but so does scrutiny. Because once people feel personally connected, they also feel entitled to question what happens next. And soon enough, some viewers weren't just watching, they were starting to analyze the business behind it. Success on YouTube always brings money into the conversation. And once that door opens, people start looking closer than ever. As the channel expanded, it became clear that this wasn't just a passion project anymore. Sponsorships began appearing, branded partnerships slipped naturally into videos, and merch helped turn loyal viewers into active supporters. None of this is unusual for a fast-growing creator, but when your content is built around authenticity and hard work, audiences tend to hold you to an even higher standard. Then came the moment that stirred debate among some corners of the internet. When viewers were invited to support large farm upgrades, including infrastructure projects, a wave of criticism surfaced online. Some questioned whether creators should accept viewer help for business expansions, while others defended it, arguing that agriculture has always depended on community support. It wasn't a scandal and no wrongdoing was proven, but the conversation revealed something important. The larger the platform, the thinner the line between transparency and perception. Here's the reality most people overlook. Running both a farm and a media brand means constantly balancing openness with professionalism. Share too little and people speculate. Share too much and every decision gets dissected. And that tension leads directly into one of the toughest balancing acts any creator faces: staying entertaining without losing credibility. There's an unwritten rule on YouTube. If you don't capture attention instantly, you disappear. And as Cole's channel grew, the stakes around that reality only intensified. What may have started as straightforward documentation of farm life gradually had to compete in a space dominated by fast cuts, high emotion, and titles that practically demand a click. Some longtime viewers began noticing the shift. Bigger reactions, more dramatic phrasing, thumbnails that hinted something major had gone wrong. Critics labeled it too YouTube, while supporters argued it was simply smart storytelling in a brutally competitive environment. The truth sits somewhere in the middle. Farming itself is unpredictable. Equipment fails, weather turns, plans collapse. But translating those moments into content requires instinct, knowing how to package reality without crossing into exaggeration. Go too mild and the algorithm ignores you. Push too hard and people start questioning what's real. For someone whose brand leans heavily on trust, that's a razor-thin line to walk. Because once viewers sense performance over authenticity, loyalty can erode faster than it was built. Yet, what most people don't see is how exhausting that constant calibration becomes. The mental tug-of-war between farmer and creator, between documenting life and producing a show. And that pressure doesn't stay on the screen. It follows you everywhere. What viewers rarely consider is the psychological weight that comes with living two lives at once. One as a farmer and the other as a public figure expected to deliver non-stop interest. On a farm, the work never really shuts off. Crops don't wait, machinery doesn't care if you're tired, and weather certainly doesn't adjust for your upload schedule. Now layer an audience on top of that, thousands of people refreshing their feeds, expecting progress, updates, and stories worth clicking. And suddenly there's almost no room to step away. The trap is subtle at first. The channel grows, videos perform well, and momentum builds. But momentum has an appetite. Viewers begin expecting bigger projects, higher stakes, and constant transparency. Even a normal week can feel too quiet for the internet. That pressure quietly pushes creators toward escalation. Not necessarily manufactured drama, but larger risks, larger investments, and more revealing glimpses into personal life. And then there's identity. When millions recognize you as the farmer, it stops being just what you do and starts becoming who you are. Taking time off can feel dangerous. Slowing down can feel like disappearing. Yet the most surprising part isn't the workload. It's why he continues leaning into it, despite the strain. Because underneath the cameras and expectations sits a motivation most viewers never fully notice. Beneath the machinery, the humor, and the daily grind sits something far more intentional than most viewers realize. A mission that stretches beyond the farm itself. Cole has made it clear over the years that the camera was never just about entertainment. At its core, the channel acts like a bridge between two worlds that rarely understand each other: the people who produce food and the people who simply buy it. For many viewers, his videos are the first real glimpse into how unpredictable, technical, and demanding modern agriculture truly is. and that impact is bigger than it looks. When someone who has never stepped onto a field suddenly understands why timing matters, why equipment costs are staggering, or why a single storm can change everything. Perception shifts. Farming stops being a stereotype and starts feeling human. But here's the twist. The more successful that mission becomes, the more complicated it gets, because now Cole isn't just representing himself or his family operation. In many ways, he's representing an entire industry to an audience ready to form opinions instantly. That's a heavy role for anyone, especially someone who never set out to be a spokesperson. Which raises a question most viewers never think to ask. When the camera turns off, is he still chasing views or carrying the weight of changing how people see farming forever? So what most viewers don't know about Cole the Cornstar isn't just one hidden detail. It's the sheer complexity behind everything they're watching. What looks like a simple farm channel is actually a constant balancing act between tradition and innovation, privacy and transparency, authenticity and performance. Every upload carries the quiet challenge of staying relatable while operating at a scale most family farms never have to manage publicly. And maybe that's why the channel resonates. It isn't perfectly polished, and it isn't supposed to be. Viewers are watching someone navigate an industry filled with uncertainty while simultaneously adapting to the unpredictable rules of the internet. Few careers demand that kind of dual awareness. Where a breakdown in the field and a shift in the algorithm can both derail your momentum. It also reframes the criticism, the debates, and the scrutiny. Because once your real life becomes content, every decision invites interpretation. Some will always question the business side. Others will admire the transparency. But either way, it proves one thing. People are paying attention. So the next time a Cornstar video pops onto your screen, you might see more than just another day on the farm. You might recognize the strategy, the pressure, and the responsibility moving quietly beneath it all, and realize the story was never as simple as it seemed. And maybe the most unexpected part of Cole's story is this. He represents a new kind of farmer that previous generations could barely have imagined. Not just someone working the land, but someone turning that work into a global window. Decades ago, farming was largely invisible unless you lived near it. Today, a single upload can pull millions of people into a cab during harvest or into the tension of a storm rolling toward planted fields. That kind of visibility changes the job itself. But with visibility comes permanence. Every tough season, every expensive decision, every on-camera mistake lives online forever. Most farmers get the freedom to learn privately. Cole learns in front of an audience that remembers everything. That alone raises the stakes in ways viewers rarely consider. What's fascinating is that despite the pressure, he hasn't retreated from it. He's leaned further in. Bigger projects, smarter production, clearer storytelling. It signals someone who understands that standing still, both in farming and on YouTube, is rarely an option. So maybe the real reason people keep watching isn't just the equipment or the scale, it's the unfolding journey of someone building a modern agricultural legacy in real time. And the truth is, we're probably still seeing only the early chapters of where that story goes next.